Hello everybody, this is Pikachumaster 542 with another exciting brunch anime time. Or brunch thing. Because right now I'm eating some lunch. Has some not chicken noodle soup, more like some plain noodle soup that I got from my local Vietnamese pho place. And also which this would be like appetizer. This is gonna be my lunch, which is I think it's a meatloaf sandwich, which I bought two of them. I got one free, so I'm gonna eat one. We give one to my brother, and the other one I'm gonna probably eat for lunch tomorrow. So yeah, this food is really good. So I'm gonna mute for a second. I don't want you to hear my slurping sounds. So I've got to get my drink, so I'll be right back. I'm back, and I got me some Coca-Cola, which is probably gonna be my only soda of the day, or for today. That's good. Okay, a wild starly appears, so I'm gonna probably catch it. Okay, catch. Okay. Okay, not okay. Okay, shot. Okay, ball. Okay. Oh, oh, what the frittata? Poke ball. Well, not poke ball, poke catch. Dios mío. I know how to freaking spell. What? Oh, yeah. Starly escaped. Oops, sorry. We kicked on the table. Uh, hmm. Just wondering what to talk about. Because we already talked about anime censorship. Oh, I think DVD releases. I think. I think probably DVD releases and like Kingdom Hearts stuff. What are we talking about in the third episode? Hmm. Hmm. Pondering. Ooh, I know. Today we're gonna talk about the first or like the couple of animes that you've watched when it first broadcast on TV. I have a couple of instances now. Oh, a moment. All right. Oh, better mute that for a second. Oh, okay, so we're gonna talk about the first anime or few animes that or like first few animes that you watched when it first aired on TV. Now for me, I was born around the 90s or like the end of the 90s. So I missed I missed the literal tsunami era because I grew up probably post tsunami era. It was like when probably when tsunami didn't exist anymore. Also, tsunami is like I think it's like a I'm trying to remember how, how to phrase it. Like a Saturday morning block, not a Saturday morning, more like a block of of anime and cartoons. Like that were Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon. I think later on Yu Yu Hakusho, One Piece. I think, and a bunch of other anime that was shown on Cartoon Network, which is what's called Toonami. So I grew up. I literally was born around or like literally the end of the 90s. So I missed the Toonami era. So I grew up. Well, not like I did grow up without anime. It's just I didn't grow up with Toonami, the original Toonami. Now let's see. But I did grow up with basic cable and also like basic cable and stuff. Like the three channels: Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon, and also so and also like PBS Kids and also the Saturday morning blocks. Like luckily I watched towards the end of I think Kids WB. That's when I watched I think Johnny Test. I think that's where I first watched Johnny Test. Also, I'm supposed to be talking about anime and not cartoons, but eh, I pull with the punches. Well, not pull with the punches, more like I'm getting to it. So I grew up, with your cartoons and some. Okay, like for instance, I think Cartoon Network. I'm trying to remember. I know it's just like American cartoons, but I'm trying to remember what other cartoons that I've watched before. My first anime. I'm trying to remember. Because I didn't grow up because my family didn't get cable until like I was till like a lot later when I was like around 10, maybe 9, around 9, or maybe when I was 9 or 10. But I think probably my first like instance with anime is with I think because I was very young, so sorry if I can't be that specific. I think it was like when I saw I think it was an episode of Dragon Ball Z, which my brother was watching because he's like a few years older than me. So I think it was the episode in which I think Gohan was battling up against Perfect Cell. And I only saw like a little bit of it. Then I walked away and watched my cartoons, which was like and shows which was on Playhouse Disney. Which I watched reruns of Bear in the Big Blue Bear in the Big Blue House, The Wiggles, JoJo Circus, Stanley, Roly Polioli, excuse me, and Charlie and Lola, and like a bunch of other cartoons, which most of them are no longer on TV, all except Disney Junior and like Disney Plus. I still wish they put on Bear in the Big Blue House on Disney Plus, because I only have 3 episodes from a DVD that I found at my local Goodwill a couple of weeks ago. And I want to watch, you know, the rest of the episodes or seasons. So, let's see. Oh yeah, my second instance with anime is Pokemon, which I think aired on Kids WB. Well, I know that it did air on Kids WB originally. Now the episode I think it was from I think it was in like the Ruby and Sapphire like series think I think the Advance I think it was probably Pokemon Advance in that season because that episode I remember specifically is an episode in which May was making Pokeblock, for the contests, and she gave like the samples to all to all the Pokemon, Gluyash and Brock's Pokemon, and they're all like were disgusted. They're like because they're literally all of them were like blue, like I think except for Munchlax, but only for a little bit because even Munchlax didn't like it. That's the episode I remember of Pokemon. That was the events, from the event series. Let's see. And then, okay, then probably, I think a couple of years later, but my family finally got cable television, or like probably got cable, which I think was at the time Time Warner Cable, because it had also a bunch of other channels like I think Nicktoons, Noggin. Before they changed it to Disney XD, it was called Jetix, and a bunch of other programs, and also Sprout before it became the Universal channel. Nicktoons, on the other hand, I've watched. I think that's where it aired like mostly American cartoons, but also some anime. Now I don't remember if it was Nick. I think it was probably Nicktoons or Nickelodeon, because the other anime that I watched, no, I think it was Nicktoons. Because how? It's because I remember they aired promos back in too late, like late 2009. Damn, I feel old. Late 2009, it was like promoting this new show called Dragon Ball Z Kai, which was basically a oh, sorry, control my nose. Which was basically like a recut that's more faithful to the manga, which was aired in Japan, and then it was dubbed into English here, and it was shown on Nicktoons. Now that's the dub that I grew up with. Now I'm not gonna go into the whole which dub is better, but I will say that which dub is more accurate to the Japanese version is Dragon Ball Z Kai, because one there's not a lot of filler. So now this was before they aired because in the Nicktoons version they stopped up to episode 98, which was like the Frieza, and the Cell saga, and that's where they stopped up to there. Now, from compared to 291, the Nicktoons Kai dub had 98 episodes. So they literally cut out almost all the filler. Like I say, almost all, because there's some shots, because there's some scenes in which there's some anime only characters, or they title it filler, which to be honest, I don't use that word filler. I call it anime only. In which there's the episode in which Goku trains with Kaiosama or King Kai, and he basically catches bubbles, and then I think in the next episode he has to bonk Gregory with the giant hammer. Now Gregory is like an anime only character, so they couldn't get rid of him, so they had to include him in the episodes, which so basically the filler was reduced, but not all the filler was cut out. Which some filler is good, and there's some that are not so good. I don't say bad because I don't want to say bad. Cause then I'll be, this guy doesn't like filler. I like some filler arcs. My favorite is from the original Dragon Ball Z is, I think it's probably either, my favorite is the one with Bulma and the crab, and probably Fake Namek, which people probably do not like, but that's their opinion. So anyways, so that's what I grew up with. That's the Dragon Ball Z dub that I grew up with. So yeah, less filler, and also the acting is, kind of, improved, because when the Funimation cast took over, I think they titled it season 3, but it was episode 68. That's, when they first started. In Kai, they're much more experienced, and, they know their characters. They know the characters. Oh, Brunch. Okay. Poke Shop. Pokeball. Poke Catch. Pokeball. Okay. So anyways. So that's the dub I grew up with. Dragon Ball Z Kai. Well, not dub, the show. Dragon Ball Z Kai. And I loved it. Now, the other anime that I grew up with was, surprisingly, since, I'm a Pokemon fan and my name is literally Pikachumaster, I grew up with Digimon. Digital Monsters. And I know that, it aired back in the 90s, 1999 slash 2000. But basically it was reruns of season 1 and 2. Because I know that they only rerun the first two seasons of Digimon on Nicktoons. Yeah, my favorite season. My favorite season is season two, which I literally have it on DVD. Cause I love that season. It has it has the Digi-Armor forms of the Digimon, and my favorite Digimon is Vmon, cause he's blue, and my favorite color is blue, and stuff. Let's see. The third anime that I grew up with was Yu-Gi-Oh, which it aired like on Nicktoons, but only up to like battles. I don't think I think battles up to Battle City. I think yeah, because they only aired up like to Battle City. And I wanted to know like when's the next episode, and so I had to really watch it on my on online, which my internet back in the day was not really good because I basically used up all the internet, and that's why it ran slow. So let's see. Also, I grew up with Also, there was a thing called Boomerang from Cartoon Network, and also Cartoon Network, in which that's where I watched Pokemon. Now on Cartoon Network, they I think back in like 2010 they aired the Pokemon Black and White series. Pokemon I think it was like the first episode of Pokemon Black and White I watched was like maybe the final episode because I remember I think Ash and I think Silent were on like a train. It was against two two dudes on like a train I think. Okay, so anyways, so I lost my train of thought. Okay, so yeah, that's like the kind of the first Pokemon Black and White episodes I watch. Cause then I watch Pokemon Black and White. And then on Boomerang I watched I think the first season of Pokemon and also Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Cause like the seasons would depend on what would air on Boomerang. Cause either be I think Diamond and Pearl or the original OG Pokemon like season one. So yeah, and so yeah, that was the first few anime that I watched when I was a kid, and now I'm old. Uh, Back in my day, we used to watch anime on a thing called a VHS tape, and now you can watch it on this thing called the digital website. I need some Coca Cola. Oh yeah, I'm also wearing a Stitch shirt, cause I'm hungry. You can see I'm hungry. Ah. Okay, so now I'm gonna eat my lunch. You know it's already 12:34, but still lunchtime. Get rid of that. That. So this is my lunch. It's I think a meatloaf sandwich, which includes like meatloaf, carrots, a carrot slaw, and jalapenos. So let's eat. Oh, I'm gonna mute for a second. Okay, I'm gonna go get some water, so I'll be right back. Alright, back with my water. I'm gonna eat the rest of my sandwich. Oh, except the carrot. So mute. Yes, finally. I caught an Akins meat, or snake spelled backwards. Okay, so that's it. I'm officially full. Now we can. You know what? I think I'm going to I have an idea. First I'm going to, sign off from here, and and I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be right back. So I'm gonna edit off here, but I'll restart the stream with a game. So thank you guys for watching episode 3 of my Brunch Anime Time, in which I did talk about, some anime, like my first few anime growing up. Oh, sorry. Ugh. Sorry for. I was trying to mute, but a burp got out. So, so, yeah. I'll be right back, and I'll restart the stream. So, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. This is Pikachumaster 542 signing out. Peace. Have a great week. Bye. Stay awesome.